today's call. So today I have somebody that has printed, is selling, and has her own Oracle deck. So she is part of our Oracle series, and I want to go ahead and introduce her so we can get chatting. Her name is Lorrie Bowden. She is an intuitive empath who has overcome a past filled with abuse and chronic illness. She created the blog called The Garden of Blessitude, so blessed and full of gratitude. This blog is a safe place to explore whatever holds you back from the full expression of your authentic soul. I invite you to go visit lorriebowden.com, which is her website, where you're going to be able to explore articles that contain thoughts, prayers, pain, and triumphs in the form of poetry, prose, and personal art. And of course, that's where you're going to be able to buy her Oracle cards. Lorrie, hi, and welcome to our call.
Hi, Angie. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I think ever since we connected for our pre-call, it's kind of been like just a natural connection. And just for everybody to know, we've been chatting for like 50 minutes before even actually starting.
Yes, we have. It's easy. It's easy. You're wonderful. You know, I told you, I didn't tell you, but you heard me say it when I walked out of the room on the last call. I said, I love her. I love her. She was like, I heard you. And I do. I can see your soul, and I can see your beauty, and everything that you do is just incredible. So I'm happy to be here. Really, really. I need it. It's like it's an easy connection, and it's very cool.
Oh, thank you. No, and I loved when I was able to reach out and talk to you, and you're like, oh my God, yes, I'm interested. Because I want to talk more about the oracles. It's part of like that Oracle Tarot that I've been talking about in other shows. Can you give us your basic explanation of what an Oracle card set deck is?
I think my basic explanation would be the cards kind of are infused, I believe, by the angelic realm. I really do. I know I spoke with you before, but I heard these cards and I saw these cards in my mind's eye. It's a very strange thing. I'm just going to say it, so I'll put it out there. Okay. So I literally, I'll hear something. I'll hear like the first sentence of something. And then behind my eyes, I see like a neon sign. And if that happens to me, then I'm like, uh-oh, I got to get a piece of paper and a pen right away. And the cards literally took about an hour and a half tops of me just really taking dictation and just writing. And I hear it, and it's not like somebody else's voice. It's in my voice, I guess, because whatever voice is in your head, right? You hear it in your own voice. And that's how they came to be. So like for me, like an oracle card, which I believe these are oracle cards, is some way for people to connect with their higher, whatever their higher energy is, the universe, God. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Your angels, I so believe in angels. I've been blessed my entire life, and I've been guarded. I know that. I have like a pretty amazing guardian angel. I really do. And then both my parents have passed, and I know they come, and they're my angels as well. So the cards, oracle cards, I think they're a way for people like who need a little help. Like that's my big thing. Like people need a little help, and so many people are not willing to ask for help. I saw some statistics, and like 3 out of 4 people don't ask for help until they're absolutely desperate.
Oh, wow.
Like 3 out of 4 people don't ask for help. 40% of people will never ask for help. Like that's like, really? That's crazy. And there's so many people that think that like seeking out therapy or seeking out help is a weakness, and it's not a weakness. Like my whole thing is about asking,
Right.
Ask, seek, knock. And it's funny to me that the word ask, ASK, is ask, seek, knock. And that's actually a service that I do offer, like just like a coaching service, or, like a guidance service. So consulting the cards, if you don't want to ask someone for help, there's so many other ways that you can receive help. And I think oracle cards are definitely one of those ways. And it's a very intuitive, personal way to
Mhm.
do it. And you don't have to feel like you're you know, weak or shamed, or you know what I mean? Like you can do it in the privacy of your own home. I kind of actually say on the cards, it says a 78 card personal private self-help system.
Oh, okay.
So, and it is like a system, you know, like this particular deck, like I don't think there are too many like it out there. And I don't know. It just came to me, like I told you. I heard the first sentence. I saw the first sentence, and it was like, start writing. And then, but Angie, that was like 5 years ago. And they sat in a
Uh-huh.
closet, hidden somewhere. And actually, what happened was I hit a roadblock where we were talking before, and where something seems too big, or I don't know what to do, I would put the brakes on and
Mhm.
then just put it away for a while. And then the new shiny thing over here would, you
Mhm.
know, like I catch my attention over there. But and then my mom got really sick and needed help. And so I helped her at the end of her life, which was also an amazing thing. And then the cards just suddenly came back on my radar. It was like, and I heard that intuitive guidance that
Right.
it's time to make them.
Right. And everything happens the way it should and for a reason. Um, okay, so you literally channeled them. Let's use the terminology without, craziness or fear. That is what this channel is for, because that's one of the things that I want people to understand. When we say, because I channel a lot myself, and when we say I channeled it, or I wrote it, or I heard something, or the thought wasn't mine, it's not that we're crazy. It's not that we have different voices in our head. I have plenty of voices in my head. They're all mine. They're all my voices. And I actually have to try to calm them down because they're telling me all the anxious and worry and this and that and blah, 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 and I have to calm those voices. But I can tell the difference for me. And I want to ask you about you. For me, I can tell the difference of when it's one of my crazy, insane thoughts, like A Course in Miracles says, or it's literally being channeled either from angels, my higher self, a higher being, whatever it is. I can tell, and I'm starting to learn how to actually tell the difference between those, when it's actually angelic and when it's me and when it's the higher me and when it's, all these different things. How do you notice besides the neon? Because that's cool. I don't have a neon sign, but that's a cool one. How else do
That
you
is
notice?
that's a definite, like for me, that's a definite. But I also hear,
Okay.
and I it's my voice, like we said. Um it's it's calmer, it's it's authoritative in
Mm-hmm.
a way. Like because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I'm trying to work with it and be more aware. I mean, I think I'm pretty aware. Like there's sometimes it's like, if it's danger, like I've been in situations where, maybe in the car. In fact, there was one time on I-4 going towards Orlando. So we talked about Orlando before, and I was getting off of 95 and getting onto I-4, and everybody was going like 90. And I
Oh,
was caught up in the middle of it, and I heard the voice. It was like, slow down. Like it was so emphatic and loud, and I literally, like, nobody was right behind me. They were passing, thank goodness. Slammed the brakes on, and then really slowed down. And sure enough, that whole bunch of cars ended up in a horrific
oh,
accident.
wow.
Horrible, like up in trees, like because they were going so fast.
Right.
And that wasn't me thinking, like that was a definite difference. That wasn't me thinking, slow down, these people are being dangerous. That was like a directive, like
Right.
a real authoritarian directive, like, slow down. So when it's like that, it's very clear. And when I see it in the neon sign, that's very clear. I write a lot of poetry, so and a lot of my writings, even if it's not poetry, if it's prose, like just the first sentence, like, and it's like, it's bizarre. The first sentence comes, and then I just take dictation. It's so, yeah. I don't know if I'm trying to think about like if there's any other indicators. It's just you kind of know that it's something different.
Right. And I think the most important part is for people to hear us and understand that maybe it's not the same for them. Like maybe they don't get neon signs, like I don't either. But everybody has their own thing that if you open up to it, it's nothing to be scared of. Right? And
Angie, yes, the fear part. Yeah.
yeah, and then the second part to that is the oracle deck. I think, and I had a conversation in another episode with my astrologer and tarot person. And I asked him the same question I'm going to ask you, but with him it was different because he does tarot cards. I think with oracle cards, more and more people are open to them because it's like, oh, they're oracle cards. They're just messages, but they still fear the tarot. They still fear, but for them, oracle cards are, oh, no, this is okay. Have you experienced that? Have you seen that? Or what's your take on that?
I totally have seen that. Yes, I agree with you. In fact, some people that I never thought would be interested in them. And it's like, as friends, it's okay. Like I love my friends dearly, but one friend was like, oh, I love them. And I think they're beautiful and you did a great job, but I don't want anything to do with that. And I was like, that's okay.
Right.
And then another friend that I thought like would be like, I don't want anything to do with that, is loving them and just like literally called me the other day and told me that she cried when she did a reading that day.
Wow.
So I don't know that I am seeing that. I am seeing that. And I think that I don't know, like when you brought up the fear before, like that you struck a chord, because like I knew when I was young, I knew that something that I was just wired differently, or I knew that sometimes I knew things and sometimes I maybe heard things, but I don't, as a child, I don't really remember. I don't remember seeing the neon sign at all, to be honest with you. I know exactly when that happened. But I was also involved with some silly children. We were young and we got involved with the Ouija board, and some of the kids became very they just became scary, and something really
Really?
really 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 scary happened. And as well as I know that there are angels, like there's opposites in everything, and that scared me so much that I literally spent many years after that like just not embracing the gift that I do have, and just trying not to be a part of any of that world, if you know what I mean. So like the fear, like I can tell you I was fearful.
So a few things are running through my head. And we're going to talk to them after we stop recording, because I have a feeling I'm going to push you to be more intuitive than you are, because you are way more intuitive than I thought you were at the beginning. But I'm picking up a lot right now. So, and the second thing is, you actually brought back a memory for me. I played with the Ouija board when I was younger. And I was intuitive. I grew up in a family that believed in spirituality. I know there's good and there's angels and there's higher beings. And I decided in my adult life, young adult life, to come this way. But I have seen the other side. I'm not going to lie. I have. Have things been scary? Yeah, things have been scary. But it's shown me my light. And it's taught me that it's what you allow it to be. If you are, it's like going to a haunted house. I don't go to haunted houses, especially no, like that's not. I don't even watch scary movies.
I don't watch scary movies.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't like it. But let's say it's like a haunted house. Their job, and I already see it that way. I don't even believe anymore in good and evil the way a lot of people do. I see it like black and white. I just see it like it's a double side, and we're all playing a role. We're all playing our paper. We're all, in this theater. Wasn't it Shakespeare that said our life is like a stage? Or I don't remember his phrase, but it's something like that. Like we're all in a theater. We're all in this, on our lives are stages or something like that. Anyways, but when I was, God, I think I was maybe like 9, 10, 11-ish when we did the Ouija board. And I was like, yeah, fine, let's do it. And it was my cousins and some friends and whatever. And I was like, oh my God, are you moving it? No, are you moving it? No, are you moving it? And that crap started moving. And we ran because we were scared. And I remember I ran with my cousin, who's about 2, 3 years older than I am. And him and I ran to my mother's room. And we both yelled. And I've never shared this publicly, but I don't care. We both yelled at the same time because we both saw the exact same thing. So we ran to my mother's room. Her door was here, her bedroom was here, and then she had sliding doors in Miami. She had sliding doors to the patio. On the 2 huge sliding doors, both of us saw the face of an Indian.
Oh my goodness.
And then we ran back, and then we remember the Ouija board was there. So we ran out of the house. We just didn't know where to go. And then we just laughed and this and we let go of it. At the end of the night, my mom's van was parked where the sliding doors are. Was it because we were playing with the Ouija board, we saw an Indian? Why did we both see an Indian? Or was it because the van was there and it made it? I don't know. But as of that day, I never again played with it. So my respects to it.
And I was probably around the same age. And we were at a campground and they had a teepee. How funny. Oh my gosh, an Indian, right? Like on the playground, there was a big teepee and it had a table inside and that's where we were doing it. And some of the boys in the group were just saying really bad things. I won't even say what happened, but when I say we ran, we scattered, we went every which way, but where's there to go? There's no place to go, but it was scary in a way that it really shut me down. It really did. And I did it. I shut it down. Like, I was like, I don't know about any of this and I don't want to know about this anymore. And I don't, and I'm not going to say that I went for years not experiencing the intuitiveness or like I'm a total empath. I can feel other people's pain. I can feel their emotions immediately. I can walk into a room and immediately know kind of everything that's going on. Like, I can't explain it. It's exhausting at times. I have to be honest. It's exhausting, but yeah, that day made me realize I was like, I don't want anything to do with this, because even though I knew enough to know that there is good and evil. I just don't know why I didn't understand, which I do understand wholeheartedly now, that the only way to get rid of darkness is to turn on the light, right? Like, we go over and we flip the switch. So I don't think it scares me. It doesn't scare me anymore because I know where I'm coming from and I know where I'm going.
Nice.
But if we had the same kind of experience around the same age, like, and I have to tell you, even recently there was a movie or a TV show and the Ouija board came on it and I was like, like, oh my God. And I left the room. It's like, I don't want to be anywhere near it. Like,
okay, we're gonna have to do some healing around that because that was a movie.
I know. No scary movies. Halloween. I love Halloween, and I'll dress like, I love costumes. I make costumes, and I've done scary ones too. But but I don't want to go to scary movies.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. My daughter, poor thing, she loves them, and she's like, "Mommy, you never go with me," and I'm like, "Nope." Like, I have no. Sorry, no, I don't. You go by yourself or find somebody else. I will not go. Okay, but let's get back to the cards. So you channeled them 5 years ago. They decided that it was time, because I honestly think there's 2 parts to it. I think I'm doing 2 parts today for everything, apparently. So they came back, let's say 5 years later, and you are open enough to actually work with them and proceed in this logical reality that we live in to actually get them done. My personal question to you is, how does it feel to, as a designer, as a creator of an idea and channeling and seeing it and then shelving it and then actually holding it in your hands, which I'm going to ask you in a little bit to show us. How did it feel for you to do all of this?
It felt amazing. It feels amazing. I have to say, it was hard work. I'm not going to lie. In fact, it was harder work than I maybe anticipated. It was time consuming work, and I put a lot of effort into it. I think I was kind of surprised by that. I always underestimate work time though. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, that'll take me about an hour and a half, and then 4 hours later, it's like, oh, I guess I was off a little. So that makes sense. I'm not very good with time. But it's incredible. And somebody asked me the other day, they were like, well, oh, aren't you sad you didn't do it like 5 years ago? And I was like, no, I'm not, because I don't think 5 years ago I was ready
Right.
for the whole experience. And when I had two really powerful like healings in the spring, like two things from my past that were things that were very deep, very things that I probably ignored for a very long time, buried deeply. And they were very powerful. And I knew after that something amazing was coming. You know how you know, if you're an intuitive, like, you can go with the gauge and feel the energy. And I just knew that something like really cool was on the horizon. And I literally got an email that from somebody that I guess I had signed up for something at some time, but hadn't seen anything from that person in a long time. And there was an advertisement for a card deck creators course. And I was like, card deck. Oh my God, I have a card deck. and it was like, when you get something like that, and you like, again, that's when the intuition, when you hear the voice too, because it's like,
Right.
pay attention to this. Because
Right.
it could have been any email, because my goodness, don't you get like 5,000 emails a day? And I think I unsubscribe from things, but I don't think they ever unsubscribe. They seem to
Yeah.
double if I do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was like I kind of like heard that voice. And when I hear the voice, the funny thing about the voice too, when you asked me before and I thought about it, it's not just in my head. And tell me if you experience this as well. It literally is like from the heart center, kind of like, and it comes up through like your head. Like it's not just hearing like a
Right.
thought in your head and how you hear it. So I think that's another way
It could
that
be
I can.
because like I don't feel it from my heart, but it comes from such a deep place in me that it probably is, because it just comes like with a knowing. It's what you said. It's like it's authoritative, but for me, it's like a knowing. It's like oh, like I know it's not me because I'll question me. But when I receive a message, it's kind of like oh, okay, and done. And the thing with me, it's sometimes I actually got something for you to remind me. I wrote it down. But the thing with me, it's sometimes it'll just give me a word and I'll have because I can see things as well sometimes. So it's like I see something and then I have a word and then I have to figure out what the hell that meant. And I'm like, okay, no, if you're gonna do this, like give me the phrase at least, because then I'm doubting. But when I have that knowing, it's kind of like this is for sure. This is what I think it means. Like I let the people know this is what I saw or heard or felt. This is my ego, Angie, interpretation of it. Take this if you will, but here you go. That's your gift. I don't know.
Perfect. I love what you said, because it's so true. Because it's not like I don't question it. Like you don't question it, right? Like it's like just the other day, here's an example for you. I was thinking about a young couple. We had gone to their wedding this past summer. And I was in my head, in the morning, I was brushing my teeth and I was like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. We haven't spoken in a while. And then I heard they're pregnant. And as soon as I heard they're pregnant, my phone went ding. And I picked up my phone and it was a video of the ultrasound. And I was like, and so, but I knew it was like, it wasn't a thought that I think they're pregnant. It was like I was thinking about them, and then I heard the words, and it's like it, right? Like it's just a knowing. I think that's a really good way. I'm glad you said that, because it's like anytime you can, like when these things happen to people, if it's hard to understand sometimes, right? Like even when it's happening to you. So like clarifying it and you actually giving words about it, like really, really helps.
And again, that's the purpose for the show, because I need people to understand We all go through things, like I said before, we all might experience it a little bit differently, but you're not going crazy. I mean, this whole thing with serendipity and it just happened and like out of the blue, yes, we see it like that, but the quantum science and the mechanics behind this universe are so incredible that our human mind, the only way we can explain it, and they have explained it in a really bad way, is called magic.
I agree.
And then a lot of people are like, oh, magic is hocus pocus, magic is this, or they magic is evil. And so then it gets lost in translation, which is, again, so important for so many of us to know our full actual power. We are nothing right now compared to the actual beingness that we are if we would activate it.
I know, right? It's so true. It's so true. It's I feel like we don't even touch the surface of what we're capable of. It's look, we're all energy, right? Like energy, and that's like I read energy. That's what an empath does, I suppose. At least that's my take of what an empath is, right? But you know, I can read energy. I one time I had my mom was, it was hard for her to get around and she was in a wheelchair and it was really hard to get into this restaurant. We were in Boca and I sat down and I had like the hair on the back of my neck stood up and there was something so evil. There was somebody, it had to be a person, right? All the work it took to get her into the restaurant. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, we have to leave.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She was like, what? And I was like, I said, I'll explain it later. I said, but I swear to you, and I don't know, like if something bad was going to happen or, you know what I mean? But if something like that happens to me, like in the past, I would ignore it and then, you know, maybe not have such a great outcome. But if something like that happens now, I listen. And as strange as it may seem to other people, it's like the people who really know me, they're like, okay, whatever you say, let's go. We're going.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's trusting. It's trusting your experience of not trusting it before. So before you got the intuition, you didn't follow it and something happened. Now you get the intuition. Oh, let me make a different choice, which is called growth, because there's a lot of people that will keep hitting themselves over the head, over the head, over the head, and they won't learn, they won't learn, they won't learn, they won't change. You did. And then you just keep, like I said before, you just keep evolving and you keep growing. And that's part of what we all came to do.
It's true, right? We have to. I mean, I don't know. I'm all about growth and I'm all about healing. And I know, like, I came from a rough past that, you know, a lot of it wasn't very nice, you know, and yet I always had such a firm faith in God and just a belief that everything would be okay. And I worked really hard, you know, like I knew things weren't, you know, when you're in an environment, when you grow up and you grow up in an environment, you don't know anything different really when you're very young. Like you start to recognize things are different when you get friends, and then you maybe go to your friend's house and you're like, that's different.
Right.
Right. So yeah, like you can start out and in a really bad place, but like you don't have to stay there. Like that's my whole thing. When you're talking about growing and evolving, you know, like, and we have to listen to those things, don't we? Like if we, like, what is it, insanity, right? We doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Like that is insanity. If you want to make changes, then you have to change. And yeah, so I did. I think I went for a very long time not listening to my intuition, and I got really sick. I got really, really, really sick, and I had a bad chronic disease that, you know, was quite bad, honestly. But
The word had, right?
I used the word had. Yes.
Very
Yes. Had, HAD, in the past. And I'm not going to say sometimes there aren't some symptoms, but it's like nope, that's gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
It's working through. Okay. Everybody's different. We all have different things for different reason, but it's what you just said. It's working through whatever symptoms you have. So being aware and taking care of yourself, but not falling victim or prey to it. That's maybe the biggest difference between many people who 100% believe in the sickness they're in versus people like us that we see it from different angles and then help ourselves to the different angles. So whatever it was, kudos to you, and I'm very happy for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a hard thing. People look for help, and there were plenty of groups that I could have gotten involved in, and I had some people who had friends of theirs like call me because they thought I could help their friend because I had the same thing, and a couple times I did that, and the other person was like so in it and so negative, and I was like, I can't be in that energy. I can't, I felt bad because I wanted to help, but the bottom line was that anything that I said that was positive or uplifting about it, they didn't want that anyway. So they didn't want to talk to me either, is what happened. But I didn't want to be defined by an illness. And
Good.
I wrote about it a little bit, like in my blog. There's some articles in there, but it's not like, that's not the focus. My focus is more like emotional healing, because absolutely, without a doubt, there's an emotional component behind every illness, and I will believe that for my entire life. I didn't know that, and I learned it, and I know it, and it's all connected, right? Mind, body, spirit, soul, where it's all connected, and it's all like, to get it all running together in harmony. Like that's what we're here for. That's what we're supposed to be learning and moving towards.
Completely. So let's talk about your cards. Can you show us some of your cards?
I can show you some of my cards. I can show.
What are they called?
Okay, they are If Then, Amen.
Okay.
Intuitive guidance for uncertain times.
Nice.
And it's basically set up where there's three sets of cards. It's almost like three decks, actually. So you have if cards. I'll show one so you can see the art on it.
Okay.
And then there's on the back, there's art in the writing, a little shiny there.
Okay.
And if there's like any problem or situation, emotion that you might be going through. And some people say, well, why do you need to pull a card to know how you're feeling? And I'm like, well, gosh, how many times do you just have a day where you're like funky and you don't know what it is? Like, I can't tell you how many times I'll pull a card and I'll be like, yes, that's so true. I feel that right now. So if is a problem, situation that you need a little help with. And then there's the then cards. And then I'll show.
Okay.
And the cards kind of go in they're similar art, but the colors are gradient, and so they move you. And the then part will give you like a little like a way to see the situation differently, maybe to think about something differently. It might actually tell you to go do something. But the then cards are really there so that you can think about the problem, and then is like, well, gosh, like do something, do something different to change the energy, to like maybe solve the problem, maybe not even solve the problem. How about we just look at the problem differently, or how about we look at all kinds of things, there's many different aspects in the then cards. And then to end the reading is the Amen cards.
Okay.
Which are brighter, and it's like a at the end. I sometimes say it's like the cherry on top, right? It's like a blessing. It's an affirmation from the angelic realm, I believe. They're usually just a short. Oh, here's one of my favorite ones, and can I just read it? Because
Yeah, of course.
my mom comes to me in rainbows, whether
Nice.
it's a rainbow in the sky or from crystals, right, and prisms, and the card that just like fell into my hands is a rainbow paints colors in the sky and love in my heart. I attract all that is meant for me. Amen.
Nice.
So
Beautiful.
mommy's here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. And
Beautiful.
so they're just like, okay, so let me go back, because you don't even have to do a full reading that way. If you just wanted to pull an amen card, you get a nice little blessing for the
Okay.
day. But another way to use the if cards is the ifs are all listed, because maybe you don't want to pull one intuitively. Maybe you're
Oh,
not
okay.
sure what it is, but you can read the list and then you say, oh, okay, if you lost your direction, that's what I'm feeling today. So you can do that.
Okay.
Or how about the days when we know exactly what's wrong, right? Like somebody hurt your feelings and you're like, this person hurt my feelings and I can't believe it. I thought they really loved me. They hurt my feelings. And then you can just go on and do a then amen reading after that. So they're kind of a couple different ways you can get the reading, but
And I'm guessing it comes with like a guide.
it comes with a little I don't have a guidebook. It just has a little directions on the
Okay.
back of the front card.
Okay.
And there's a little note from me as the creator on the back of the back card.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then like I said, and then the list of the if cards. So there's 25 each of the ifs, the
Okay.
thens and the amens, and then 3 informational cards.
Okay.
And if selling them, actually here, I'll put them in the bag. I didn't, to be honest, like I didn't want to do a box from China and with the supply chain and everything. So most people put their cards in satin bags anyway. So I'm
Cute.
actually putting it in a white satin bag, and then there's just a hang tag and
Okay.
a little charm that says made with love, because they were made with love.
Yes. And
And love
definitely
infused with love.
infused. Uh-huh. They're definitely infused. No, I think that's amazing. And I know we're running out of time, but I am so happy that you were able to channel it and go through it and print them and do them and sell them and offer them to the world, because it's what you said. There's I collect Oracle decks. Like I literally, everybody that knows me knows I collect them. You very well know I just finished a move. My Oracle decks are still in boxes. I can't even find the boxes where they are right now. But I have a whole collection of Oracle decks. And it's what you just said at the beginning. It's sometimes you just pull out a card because I don't know. You just pull out a card and then the message is like in your face. How does it work? We'll leave it to the unknown. We'll put it that way. There are times, I'll be honest, that I try to trick the universe, right? And I'm like, well, let's see what they say. And I'll take 3 or 4 or 5 different Oracle card sets. And the way I do them, I talked about it with my astrologer, with Kevin. What I do is I only do 3 cards. I don't read for people. I do it for myself. So I have my pattern, right? So I would do 3 cards of like 5 different, so 15 cards on my, wherever I'm spreading this. All of them say the same message in different ways.
There's no tricking.
I know.
There's no trick in the universe.
It doesn't mean I stop trying. I know. And sometimes I don't even do it on purpose, as in I'm trying to trick them. Sometimes I don't want to believe the message.
Oh,
Because maybe my energy and my vibe is like down to hell and they're telling me, hey, chill, everything's going to be fine. I'm like, no, it's not. You're not working. And I'll get another one. Right. And it tells me the same thing. And I'm like, whatever.
okay.
Right.
I know.
Whatever. I'm putting you over.
That's the beauty of it. Like, I don't know. It has to be angels. It has to be a higher power. It has to be, I don't know. Like yesterday, a girlfriend who I never thought in 10 million years, like, would be anywhere near something like an oracle deck. And she was like, oh, well, let me see what you did, and I was like, well, let's do a reading. I was like, and she picked the card, and I could tell like she was a naysayer, that she was thinking like, I'll do it, but
Right.
and she pulled it, and the look on her face, and she went, wow. I said, oh, I was like, so it means something to you, huh? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, pick it then.
Right.
Choose
Right.
another one. And she did it. And she was like, wow. Like she was really, and it was funny because I just loved it. Like to me, it was like, that's so cool. And then the amen card, of course, all the amen cards are great, but the amen cards also have a way of coming into the reading and changing it, possibly depending on it's amazing how they work together, is what I'm saying. But 5-10 minutes go by and she was like, well, how much are they? I was like, for you.
Yeah.
And she bought a deck, and she can't wait to use them, so like that's just cool. It's cool, and it happens like that. Like it seems like, I don't know. And I have to say, like, I've been doing a lot of playing with my deck, doing some readings, for myself, and just, working with them, feeling that energy. And I can't tell you how many times lately, out of 25 of each of the cards, how many times I'm pulling the same card. I don't care how much.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, like you said, the universe,
Right.
there's no tricking the universe. And I'm like, come on, guys, there's 24 other cards in here. Can I get a different reading?
Mhm.
And it's like, so I was like, oh, maybe I should really think about this one,
I
right?
know.
Like,
It's like the angels there, like putting the card out again, like, look at it, look at it, look at it.
you know,
Honey,
it,
thank you. We are running out of time. Where can people visit you and where can they purchase the deck and everything that you're doing?
the easiest way right now is just to go to my website. So it's LorrieBowden.com. My name, easy. I think you'll have it spelled there, right?
Yeah, I'll put it down as
LORRIE.
always. Mhm.
Yeah, LorrieBowden.com, and I'm sure that you won't be able to miss them. They're
Okay.
kind of on there right now, so it's big in my life, and I'm excited about it. And thank you, Angie. Like, oh my gosh, I adore you, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's just been so great to talk with you.
No, thank you. And you're welcome. And we're going to talk a lot more. I mean, we're going to talk a lot more. We're going to do a lot more. So we'll see what comes out. But I definitely wanted to bring you on board, not only because you're a creator, but because of the Oracle decks, because you're in tune, because of all this, and the connection was meant to be. So what else can we say about that?
We can just say, yay!
Well, I know who I'll be visiting in Florida whenever I go down now.
Right, great. You know where I am.
All right, awesome, honey. Thank you so much again.
I loved it. Thank you, Angie, really. And I know I have your email.
Yes.
I'll send it tomorrow morning, and I'll hook you up with John. And yeah, good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Have a
Bye.
great day.